you can see the lever for the bolt release is angled outward. So these are really cool. These are it's a bolt action magazine fed pistol. In terms of like its physical accuracy in the game and the textures and just the way it fires, yeah, everything's there. What's up guys, Kommander Karl here. Welcome back to Expert React. Today we are going to be looking at Insurgency Sandstorm, a game that I actually haven't played, but I have seen a lot of gameplay footage. So we're gonna take a look at some of the weapons in the game. Gonna see just how realistic they are in terms of their real life representation, go over a little bit of facts about them, and kind of look at the quality of the animation. And from what I've seen, this is gonna be pretty fun. First, we've got the Desert Eagle. Ooh, these things are monsters. Oh. Yes. Yep. Okay. So, yep. Look at that. You can see inside the barrel and everything. Look at that. That's great. Okay. So nearly everyone's heard of a Desert Eagle. This is from IWI, Israeli Weapons Industry. These are large caliber semi-automatic pistols, typically chambered in 50 Action Express. However, you can also find variants in 44 Magnum and also 357. Let's take a look at the reload animation, and well, let's just take a look at it real quick again. Okay. So you can't see the mag coming out, which I guess is fine. Sounds great. This is a very big bulky pistol, and so you can actually hear the slide when you're firing these things. Wow. Honestly, I've never shot a Desert Eagle, not yet, but I mean, these things are gargantuan pistols. They're very heavy to sort of make up for the large caliber they're chambered in. They don't typically put large calibers in a semi-auto like this, but the Desert Eagle did it. And the really cool thing about it is that this doesn't, like, unlike like a 1911 or something, the slide is actually like a smaller component of the overall barrel assembly. So when the weapon is empty, you see the slide come back, but you don't actually see the barrel like sticking out of the end because that part of the receiver doesn't move. Yeah, that was really satisfying. Very good. All right, now we have the 92. I think this is the M9. I think is a Beretta, basically a Beretta 92 FS. So let's go ahead and take a look. All right, here we go. Yes, this is the. Oh, that sounds good. Let's go through it first. Nice. Beautifully done. You can see the tilted slide release. Beautiful. That is a 92FS or Beretta M9. That has been standard issue for the US military since I think the 90s, maybe a little bit earlier, but I don't know 100%. Magazine release is much like many semi-automatics, is right where the thumb meets the kind of towards the trigger group there. It's just a double stack magazine. So what that means is that instead of holding like, I don't know, 7-8 rounds, these things can hold like 15 rounds, I think, because the magazine has a double wide interior. So as you're inserting the rounds, they go down one side and kind of interchange between the magazine assembly. This is chambered in 9mm. I got one right here. It's not a very big round, so lighter weight, less recoil, less stopping power, but still a formidable sidearm, I would say. In terms of like its physical accuracy in the game and the textures and just the way it fires, yeah, everything's there. I mean, they've got the decocker at the top of the slide towards the back. There's a little lever, and when you press that down, it actually decocks the weapon and acts as a safety as well. In terms of recoil, it's actually pretty accurate for recoil. Wonderful, iconic design. All right, next we've got the Browning High Power. This is sounds good. This sounds like the 9mm variant. So this is a pretty interesting pistol. It's sort of a whole lot different than like a 1911. It was designed by John Browning, but he actually died before the design was fully complete. So it was kind of handed off to FM Herschel, which is Belgian, I believe. These are again chambered in. They could be chambered in 9x19, which is 9mm, 40 Smith & Wesson, or 7.65x21. They're solid. You know, I've shot a Browning high power probably when I was in my teens. My dad has one. In terms of sound and recoil and accuracy to the real life counterpart, yeah, it's solid. Magazine release on the side there, slide release. Yeah, very good. Well done, developers. All right, next we got the Welrod. This is a pistol I've never fired before. So these are really cool. These are it's a bolt action magazine fed pistol. It has an integrated silencer, so designed for like covert ops and stuff. Yeah, it sounds great. This sounds. These were designed in, I think, 1942. produced in World War II and onwards. They didn't make a whole lot of these. I think somewhere in the teens, like 15,000, maybe a little bit less. So they're not very easy to find. Solid, really, never fired one, but I know about these weapons, and I've seen them in other games as well. I should probably fire one when I get the chance. Okay, MR73. Oh yeah, look at that. Ooh, that's like a partial reload going on there. I like that. It's firing it in double action. That's cool. Look at that, he's checking all the rounds are empty. So, got a partial reload here, and you can see the back of the primers don't have the little striking line from the firing pin. After a primer is struck, this is an unstruck primer. After a primer is struck, you will see a punch in the center. Primer is what ignites the powder inside the casing and propels the gases, the expanding gases, propel the round out of the chamber. I've never shot one of these. It's French. These are get double action or single action revolvers are chambered in 357 and also I think 38 special, which I have right here. This is 38 special. Yeah, solid. Really, it sounds like a 38 special in the game here. M41. This is an Armalite platform. You know, fairly standard. Designed by Eugene Stauner back in the 60s, 50s. I can't fully remember, but you can see the lever for the bolt release is angled outward. Presses it to close the bolts. The magazine release button, you can see it coming out the other side of the magazine wall when the magazine is released. Super accurate, obviously. Sound is great. It sounds like a 223, and the recoil is pretty accurate as well. They don't have a lot of recoil because 5.56 is pretty lightweight, but I would say definitely accurate. I've shot an M4 and it was very easy to handle, so wasn't flying all over the place in the game. So yeah, pretty accurate. Very good. Nicely done. Next on the list, the AKM. Yeah, oh. Yes. Okay, that was really good. That sounds exactly like an AKM. The AK platform fires by having the expanding gases going through a tiny port at the end of the barrel, and they push back a giant piston, which is connected to the bolt. It's very loose. Like if you see these things firing in a high-speed camera, they're bending and shaking everywhere, and you can really hear that in the audio. The AKM is effectively an updated sort of lightweight version of the original AK-47, meaning that instead of a milled receiver, like a milled steel receiver, these use a stamped receiver. So much lighter weight, easier to carry for long periods. Does also mean that there's going to be a bit more recoil. Fires 7.62x39, standard Soviet assault rifle caliber for God knows how long. Yeah, really solid. Okay, so we got the Ace 52, which I, again, I'm a little less familiar with, but this is an Israeli weapon. It's IWI. It's very much so based. It's like an updated Galil. It's based on that design. Look at that. Great. Oh my God, that was beautiful. These are chambered in either one of three calibers: 5.56x45, 7.62x39, or they have a 7.62x51, which is much larger caliber. And if I had to guess, this is, judging by those cases, I would say this is 7.62x39, just judging by the sound and the recoil. Beautiful how, like, you can see the magazine inside of the receiver right as he's pulling the bolt back, slams forward. It happens so quick you can't tell if they actually animated the round feeding into the barrel. But never shot one of those before, but definitely it feels, I would say, is very accurate to its real life, counterpart. Yeah. Nicely done. All right, next we have a weapon I have fired, the AUG A3. So this is the Steyr AUG A3. It's an Austrian design. It's a bullpup. It also uses a sort of a similar bolt mechanism to like an MP5 where you lock it back. The bolt handle itself is separate from the bolt assembly. Typically chambered in like 223. I think the fire rate, I'm not sure if it's completely accurate. It might be. It's been a little while since I shot this. I'd have to go back and look through at the video. But in terms of like just the weight of everything, like they really nailed the weight distribution of a bullpup here. Like when you're pulling out the magazine, the rear of the weapon's going to come down, and it feels exactly as it would when you're firing these in real life. All right, we've got AK-74 chambered in 7.62 by or 5.56 by 39. This is back when the Soviets wanted to kind of compete with the United States in terms of like, you know, smaller cartridges, lighter weight cartridge, more like just overall lighter weight design. Nice, the lever actually moves. Look at that, you can see the bolt slamming open and close there. Yeah. Oh, that's satisfying. Excellent detail. They really nailed it there, honestly. Next, we have a rifle I actually used to have. This is the Tavor 7. So the Tavor 7 is chambered in 7.62 by 51. This is a larger caliber. So the recoil seems pretty on point. These things kick like a mule. They're easier to handle given that, again, it's a bullpup design, but it's a larger caliber. It's gonna try to climb on you. And you can see that demonstrated pretty well here. The magazine release is a little like lever right by the trigger group, and then the bolt release is behind the magazine. It's like a little, it's just a thing like you press and it releases the bolt. Sounds great. I mean, it's not an all metal weapon, and you can tell by the sounds of like the magazine going in and out of the receiver. Very nice, very well done. And next we have my personal favorite, the M1 Garand. Let's do this. Beautiful. Yep, look at that. Okay, so that was a partial reload. So, nice. So, these weapons are designed with an internal magazine. This means that there's nothing you can remove from here. So what you have to do if you need to do a partial reload, so you don't actually pull it back all the way. Pull it back just enough, and then there is the eject button right here. So you pull it back, press that button, it'll eject the in-block. This uses what's called an in-block clip, which has 4 rounds on each side. And when you do that, the rounds kind of fly all over the place once it's ejected, because part of what's keeping all those rounds in place is the tension of all of them being next to each other inside the in-block clip. So when you're doing a partial reload like that, it's really messy to do with these weapons. So for that reason, there were quite a few games back in the early 2000s where the animators were like, I don't want to animate a partial reload of this. Like, I remember Medal of Honor Allied Assault, you couldn't actually reload the weapon partway through. You had to clear the... Yeah, I love the M1 Garand. You could tell I know a lot about these. And I would say this game has already done a really good job of portraying just how these handle.